Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War.
The Democrats? Our democracy since the Civil War? And you guys have people in slavery. Welcome to the channel Modern Renaissance Man. I'm Ty Smith. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to view my content. Make sure that you are following me on all the platforms you see above and the ones below. And ladies and gentlemen, hitting this thumbs up button right here is how my content can consistently be recommended to you, and it helps push my content out in the YouTube shadow banning algorithm. Of course, it's not going to be pushed out, especially while wearing a hat like this. So it's up to you guys to help me out with that, all right? Double check and make sure that you still are subscribed to my channel as well, because it's a good chance you may have been unsubscribing. You ignoring me saying this right now, not even checking to see if you're subscribed. You might be surprised if you look down there and see that you're not. Yeah, make sure you guys do that. Okay, so I shot this video earlier, and I told you guys that I was going to pretty much, give you guys a recording of Kamala Harris saying those words right there, right? And as you can see, I played a little bit of that. I played a little bit of that at the beginning of this video, but I want to play it one more time for you so you guys can hear it, and you're going to hear why I said what I said in the beginning, because most people didn't even pick up on that. So without further ado, here we go. Check it out.
Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War.
She made a statement. She said what Trump did on January 6th was exactly what she said. What Trump did on January 6th was worse than what happened to our democracy during the Civil War. I'm going to play the video for you guys. Did you hear me?
Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because I agree, climate change represents an existential threat. He denies the science. You want to talk about North Korea, real threat in terms of nuclear arsenal, but what does he do? He embraces Kim Jong-un, a dictator for the sake of a photo op. Putin, you want to talk about
Senator
Russia?
Harris, we're going to
he takes the word of the Russian president over the word of the American intelligence community when it comes to a threat to our democracy and our elections.
Thank you, Senator Harris.
These are the issues that are before us, Chuck.
I hear you.
I'm paraphrasing, but I'm telling you pretty much Kamala Harris said what Trump did to go after the democracy is worse than what he did to our democracy, worse than the Civil War. I'm sorry, not the Civil Rights Movement. She said the Civil War. So let me say that again. What Trump, even though we know it's fake, Trump did not incite no insurrection or anything like that. But what she said is what happened on January 6th was the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. I'm going to break this down. For you to say our democracy since the Civil War, the Democrats, our democracy since the Civil War, and you guys have people in slavery. And for Kamala Harris, of all people, to even make that statement like that, knowing that her Irish family owned slaves, people didn't even pick that up. Did y'all even pick that up? She says that was the biggest attack on our democracy since the Civil War. And if that's their democracy, what she's saying is their democracy consisted of Democrats having black people in slavery. And January 6th was worse than that. So January 6th was worse than Negroes being enslaved. And Trump is worse than that. So the Democrats are the ones that had black people enslaved. Republicans formulated the party, Abraham Lincoln, to combat slavery. And she's saying that what happened on January 6th was worse than the Civil War because it was an attack on their democracy. See, folks, what y'all don't understand is that some people can't see through a lot of this bull crap. When you say things like our democracy, Kamala Harris are not talking about you Americans. When she said he's a threat to our democracy, she's not talking about y'all that's voting for her. She's not talking about you. She's talking about the globalists, the elites, the ones I just named off, the Schwabs, the Koch, the Gates, World Economic Forum, the WHO. She's talking about all them. That's a threat to their democracy. That is their democracy. But any American, whether you vote for Kamala Harris or not, you're not a part of their democracy. Because here's the thing. Then they switched it up and said Trump and MAGA are a threat to our democracy. So people understand this. If you had the Republicans back then that was white people were willing to kill other white people so that black people can be free. So if MAGA is a threat to their democracy, then here we are again, and y'all might not even look at it this way. Here we are again in a internal and an external and a spiritual civil war. So when people say make America great again, I always get asked, when was America ever great? When the Civil War was won.
You see what I'm saying? People don't think about it that way. And that's the flat out truth. Guys, y'all can think of me as being crazy. Trust me, I do not care. I know the God that I serve. I know that the Holy Spirit that's within me. I know that book said that I'm not warring against flesh and blood, which are people in per se. It said I'm warring against spiritual wickedness in high places, principalities, rulers of darkness. That's who I'm up against, which are spiritual entities, right? And those spiritual entities, like I mentioned, are working with human beings. They always had, and they always will, to those who are willing to give themselves over to those spiritual entities. Like I said, you can call them Nephilim, you can call them fallen angels, you can call them aliens, you can call them something from the other world, you can call them something from the universe. But they've always been here. They didn't come from other planets or anything like this. They've always been here since the fall. 1/3 of them fell with Lucifer, plain and simple. And they are still out doing their deeds. I don't have time to go all the way into it, how they end up sleeping with the daughters of men, forming these giants and everything like that. When they got drowned out, they end up leaving behind a Nephilim spirit. These spirits are working with, I'm just telling y'all, call me crazy. I do not care. Okay? But I do know that these spirits know that I know. And that's why I'm not talking about things like this. It makes a lot of them uncomfortable. Trust me, when I'm out doing things like this and I'm talking directly to a human being that might be operating with these spirits, it gets pretty crazy. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. And don't forget to do what you see going on right there. The next video that I will be doing in chronological order will be up here. Things that I do as a variety or mix up on the channel will be down there. I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, hoping and praying that every last one of you have food, shelter, and clothing. And most of all, I pray every last one of you guys are in great health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus.